Well, good afternoon. This is Mike Tillison in downtown Beula. The Winterfest. Beula Village Park. Used to be a railroad that came right through here. That's all I can tell you. I think I went to Traverse City and Caliba. If I went to Caliba, I certainly had connections to Manistee. 100 years ago, you either walked or rode a horse or took the train. Here comes the team. I was talking to the lady teamster. She said that, which I knew, pulling this wagon is so easy, it's not even work with the horses, just walking. Each one of those horses is about a ton. There's a lot of traffic here in downtown Beula. I think the teamster who owns these horses said that I don't know, 1.2 miles per hour or 1.8. Less than 2 miles per hour. It is below freezing today, even though the sun is out, so you can see the breath of the horses. Somebody's going the wrong way on a one-way, I think. Well, if you're inquisitive like me, you're going to want to find out about Beula. I got a lady down here at the Beula train station. Tell me, who are you?
I am Shelley Szymanski.
and you're the hostess for today?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm overseeing the registrations for the outhouse race, but
Whoa.
I have lived in Beula for many years, so maybe I can answer some questions about it.
Okay, this obviously is a train station. Where did the train come from to the south?
The train came from right up in the Betsy Bay area in Frankfurt. In other words, boats would come across Lake Michigan and they would, unload their cargo
So
there.
it went out around Crystal Lake then?
It didn't go around Crystal Lake, but it did go along the south shore of Crystal
Okay,
Lake.
okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But then where did it go? And you can hook that, Frankfurt, you can hook into where?
Well, their trail also follows the railroad tracks, and which is now a bike and walking trail, but that's where the tracks used to be.
But where did you go after that? I mean, that wasn't the end of the line, was it?
Well, it was, yeah, because you walked right, because Lake Michigan is there.
And
And
you didn't
so,
go to south then?
not on this particular, that I know of, maybe at one time they did. I do know that they have, all along in here, they had different stops, like I know there's one at Ludington, and there's one in Alberta, which, is kind of the Frankfurt, Alberta one that I'm talking
Right.
about. And there were places, but pretty much I think they went inland from there. I know this one does. This one heads towards Cadillac. Ultimately, where the train used to run. Yeah.
Well, I know there's a crossing in Calaba, which I think Calaba, the name stood for crossing, I think.
That's very possibly true. Yeah, I don't really remember all of that. Although the train was still here when we moved in. We lived down we lived right across from the tracks. So when the train went through, we always definitely saw it and heard it, and sometimes felt it.
Was that when you were there, was it steam or diesel?
Oh no, this is more modern. We moved here in the early 70s, so.
That had to be diesel.
But it had been here for many years before. And the house that we live in was actually one of the original cottages built for the people that worked on the railroad.
Is that something?
Yeah, it was a bunkhouse, and they just kept building around it. So now it's a cottage, and in our case, a year-round house because that's where we live.
Sure, because I know the courthouse is up on the highway, but the old courthouse is right here somewhere.
It's right there. Yep, right up on the hill next to what you can see the brick, the white part.
Okay.
They've kept the front of it really very similar to what it was like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's where the original courthouse.
How many
was.
outhouses do you have?
Well, right now we only have a few, but what I have discovered from doing this is that in just a few minutes or an hour or maybe right before the race, we'll have some other entries probably.
Okay.
People who decide to do this at the last minute, and then they come in and bring them in. So
Well,
we usually have about 8 of them.
Are they like a sleigh or more like a wagon? Or what?
They usually sit on skis. And they really look a lot like outhouses. I mean, there's requirement for it. You gotta have a toilet seat and you gotta have the toilet paper.
In it, I think.
No, you don't have somebody in it, but there are 2 people who push it. They create them so
Okay.
that there are places to run, and they run down the track, one on either side. It's funny.
Well, in
Yes.
Manistee, we have a bed race, and other places have bed races.
Oh, that sounds like fun
And they usually
too.
have 4 or 6 people pushing it, one person on the bed,
Gosh, you'd almost need to, wouldn't you?
Well, it's called a bed race,
Yeah, sure. Well, what we have here is a similar idea. I think only we use the outhouse instead. But I think it would be really funny to do it with beds too.
Yeah. So what's going on at Beula after Winterfest?
Oh, I don't know if there's anything especially, you mean like festivals and that type of
Yeah,
thing?
what's going on?
This is kind of our big one for the winter right here. But this is a busier place than people might think in the winter because there's, a lot of people that go snowmobiling. There are a lot
They're
of...
all over the place.
Sure, snowshoers and a lot of skiers, cross country, and of course, we're only about 15-20 minutes from Crystal Mountain. So we have a lot of Crystal Mountain people that are visiting there that come here, and they're looking for something else to do. That's
So have you been a Beula person most of your life?
well, since my early 20s, I'm a teacher, and I got a job up here, which is where I always wanted to live. I actually grew up in Hastings.
So what do you teach?
I taught every elementary grade before I was done in some junior high
Okay.
and some fun high school projects too. So I really got to teach the full line of
Oh,
things.
that's super.
It was, yeah. Mainly a 5th and 6th grade teacher though, is where I spent most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got it. I'm not real good at history, but I understand you had a famous author.
Yes, we did. Bruce Catton, who won the Pulitzer Prize for history. He wrote a series of books on the Civil War that are still, you know, absolutely top-notch books for people to read. And he was from Benzonia, which is just up the hill.
And what's the story that I heard of Waiting for the Morning Train?
Yes, that is a really great book.
Was that right, this station?
That was talking about, yes, it's talking about how this all just occurred because it used to be underwater.
Yeah, swamp.
And yes, and so there was a situation where there was a miscalculation made about the depth of Crystal Lake as opposed to Lake Michigan, and they thought, oh, well, it would be that much quicker if we could bring the boats in and, you know, unload cargo here. Yeah, which was a great idea, but the problem was that when they opened it up, when they went through the whole thing and opened it up, what happened is they drained out several gallons of water. I don't even know how many, but enough so that this whole Beula area would have been underwater at that time, right up to the bluff.
So when they opened it up, the water went out?
It sure did, and it just created all sorts of, you know, damage and stuff. They, you know, the floating buildings and trees and animals, the whole 9 yards. Nobody expected it to be that kind of a flood.
So how come these guys, the surveyors, how come they couldn't figure that out?
I don't know, and I've wondered about that now, but it was definitely a miscalculation when they...
Because Onekama went down 13 feet, I think. You know, when they dug it out with shovels, and all of a sudden they get out of the way, and it just opened up, and that was because where we are now, we're 150 foot from the lake. We would have been underwater, I think, back then.
Yes.
1850.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, it was really amazing. I hear, you know, Bruce Catton, of course, was here at that time and actually experienced it. So he's writing from firsthand knowledge, but he did say too that you could hear the noise from it for upwards of 30 miles away or more. It just was so loud. And
The water going out.
Yeah, because it was the water left. Of course, what was Crystal Lake at that time, and just of course overflowed. Eventually, when it all settled, though, they realized that, you know what, you can't do that. You can't bring those boats all the way up. So
how far is it to Frankfurt by water?
Good question.
About 8 miles, I think.
You can go down to the end of Crystal Lake, and you'd still have a little bit of land in between you and the Lake Michigan from there.
But there's a river there.
Yeah, there is a river. There,
A channel.
Betsy River goes through.
Okay, wow.
And stuff. So I don't know exactly how many. By the roadway, it's about 7 miles, and it's probably similar length distance by river too. I would think.
Okay,
Simply
sure.
because it's pretty straight.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, we have the team coming. I have the owner right next to me. 2,000 pounds apiece, right, sir?
Roughly, yes.
Yeah. I imagine if he had steel-toed shoes on and he stepped on a foot, you're going to still be smashed. What are their names?
The one on the left is Fergus, and the one on the right's Finn.
Fergus and Tim?
Finnegan.
Finn.
Ferguson and Finnegan.
Now, do they respond to G and hard by pulling on the reins?
G and Haw. They do.
So what if you're saying G, but you're giving the reins a pull of Haw?
They'll go where the reins go.
Okay, so you could say anything you wanted to, and they're not going to do it. They're going to.
They'll get confused if you give them a voice command one way and you're pulling on the lines the other. They'll confuse them.
Yeah. What I like to do when I see somebody with a dog, I say, "Does your dog know his name?" "Oh yeah. What's his name?" "Sally." I say your dog does not know his name. So of course, they get all indignant, and I get back and I say, "Have your dog sit?" And I go, "Bob, come here." I slap my legs and the dog comes running to me. Well, that's not fair. Your dog doesn't know his name. What is my position called on this wagon? Drive along? But you're the teamster.
Step. Step. Step, boys. Here. I don't know. Rider. Passenger.
Oh, what is your name?
Angel.
Angel. All right. Are you? Is that your name or your title?
No, that's
Your name.
my name. Yeah. Come on, boys.
Now, what is G and what is Hawk?
G is when we're going to ride. Pause when we're going back.
Okay.
It's just a different way of saying it to them, and they understand it a little better.
Well, I remember that from my dad had a team, and I was a kid, so that's a long time ago.
Rather than saying left or right to them.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So is this your job, riding, doing the team?
I help her, yeah. I help her drive sometimes, or just whatever needs done around the farm. Sometimes I'll help her with that. We have sleigh rides at the farm, so sometimes we have two sleighs going, and she'll drive one or I'll drive another.
So this is a pretty easy day for horses, isn't it? Full of wagons.
This is kind of pretty laid back. I mean, they do get worked up a little bit, but nothing compared to any other. I mean,
Well, I've been to that event in Bear Lake, north of Bear Lake, where they had horses full of.
oh,
Wow.
Yep, Powder. Yep, that's the Northwest Michigan, the Draft Horse and the Mule Association.
Yeah.
And we're a part of that, and
Two horses.
that's her mom's place actually up there. We have it on.
Well, I know they do, I think they do one horse, two horse cow, and three horse.
Yeah, that's a little more intense for them than this is.
And I think they told me a good team could plow an acre a day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And they had a big old John Deere. Not a big John, it was a big tractor, but it wasn't a big John Deere. I think the guy said he could do 40 acres. Would that be right? So back in 1880, you didn't have a John Deere.
No, not like we got today. Come G, boys. Come G. Every time when we come up to this corner, I think they like to go straight because the horse is just down on me. But
So that's what they're ultimately going to go to, the horse jamming?
well, they think so, but we're not gonna.
No. Hey,
They're
you're not
ready
done
to be
there.
done. They're ready to be done after the first round.
And you're going to be in the parade.
Yes, they'll be through the parade too.
Did you order this weather?
No.
You did a good job, as you did.
Yeah, I guess it's a decent day today. Could be worse. This is very mild.
A year ago or 2 years ago, I don't know which. It was so cold up here, I couldn't wait. The moon was coming off the lake.
Oh yeah. Come G, boys. Come G. Come G. Come on. Stop. lot of good videos and things.
I think I was out here. I went on the ride a while an hour ago, and my camera quit. Oh, but guess what? I went to the car and got a different camera. You always take 2 cameras or something like this if you're serious.
That's right. Come on, boys.
Yeah, I've seen the Budweiser Clydesdales, and man, those are big horses and guys. Those harnesses and things are shiny so nice. I guess there's like 17 that do that, but I just Budweiser Clydesdales, there's multiple doing that.
They've got quite a few that they rotate with.
Yes.
And for different parts throughout the United States
Yeah.
that they use.
Watched the Super Bowl. I don't remember any Clydesdales in at all of it. Did you see it?
I didn't watch it, but that's what she just was telling me, that they didn't have any
Yeah, I didn't see the Clydesdales.
no commercials this time.
There's a powerhouse. How many more trips are you making before the parade?
This is the last one, and then we're gonna head over and line up.
Well, good. I'm glad I came out. Because they speed up like that on their own, or you tell them to speed up?
They did that on their own, but I can't accuse them. to
Okay.
do that too. Come, G. Come, G. Yeah, they decided to do that on their own.
When I was in Oahu, they had, at the fair, they had horses where they were backing a wagon. Not like this, bigger wagon. They would go in and then back out, and then go in and back out, and go around and do a figure 8, just this.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those guys have been around a long time. They hardly did anything. They just sit there, and the horses would, they knew what to do.
Yeah. Oh, boys. Right there.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So while we're going to go down, we got to go down and line up for the parade.
I'll be there. You have a
And then,
wonderful day.
'cause there's somebody, we got a guest of honor coming to ride with us, I guess.
The governor, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but.
No, I don't think so. There they go. Crowds are already building. Oh, there is a highway,
Oh my.
31. Cars going by.
I can barely carry it. Is it bigger than mine? Yes, it is. Catch me. No, mine Mine's
I don't
longer.
think I can see the
Jack.
northbound traffic.
There's that dog with the coat on. That's McGee.
Jack.
The dog?
Jack.
Name is on the
What?
coat.
Jack, buddy.
Oh, I just saw one going south, going north. Stand corrected. Get him, fighter.
Jason Bishop. Go.
Oh my God.
Every time we do that, I'm like, why don't we do this more often?
I'm at the Beula Winter Fest.
Now, is Carrie gonna be?
This is called kids throwing chunks of ice.
Yeah. Okay. He's a she, and then dad wanting to prepare. So, but
They are started. There's 2 fire trucks at the beginning. Certainly is a nice day for a parade in February. My guess is if you went to the Bear Lake days, Onekama days, Frankfurt days, you'd see 1 or 2 of these vehicles. I have no idea why people squat down like that. I don't know if it's because they're cool. They just don't know what they're doing. My guess is they don't know what they're doing.
Just stand back 2 feet, okay? The drone just went by a bit.
Where is it?
He's down there somewhere now.
keep an eye on him. Atmosphere.
There's a got out of the Jake, I really like the drum band. Did you know those are all fire trucks in the city? And that John Deere
There's the drone. Look back here. Bet you can see it should be right from here.
Thanksgiving for candy! The train's up there, I can't see it. I see a police car back there, I think.
Something, yeah. Easter bunny too.
Yeah, taking an Easter bunny.
Oh, there's some kids out there.
Benzonia Fire Department. This is Benzonia Township. Benzonia Township Fire Department. You can see there's a lot of people down here now. Thousands. Okay, dropping zeros. Hundreds maybe.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. I thought it was a police car. Easter bunny.
Easter bunny.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Fish wagon.
Car.
There's a clown.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Samaroo. Meals on Wheels. Easter egg hunt March 31st.
There's two clowns and one bunny. Yeah.
Saturday, Memorial Park. I have an idea it's going to be a lot warmer. It's Easter egg hunt. Easter bunny. Easter bunny.
Hey, Easter bunny. What's up, Easter bunny? Hey, this bunny. Oh, what do you got?
There's the fill in for the Dalmatian dog. You got Elmira Fire Department, Elmira Township. Engine number 7. John Deere. John Deere is used for grooming the trails, to scoop snow and this would be my favorite unit in the parade. Benjamin Manistee Snowmobile Club. carrying the outhouse.
Who's that? Oh yeah, that's cute.
Red Chevy pickup.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Comes Beula boosters.
I never picked it.
You knew it. You knew it.
Let's take the kids going now.
Dog.
Is that all the trays?
That was not a float, that was a dog.
Who likes the boozers?
There's the horse.
I think this one was in the paper.
We need to go see the outhouse race now.
Yeah.
We need candy. You're ready. Thanks, buddy.
Well, I'm at the end of the outhouse course.
Did the turkey bowling? Did you? Oh, we did. Good. Fun. Mike actually was like in third place. Sweet.
I almost got a plaque, but I lost in the playoff.
Isaiah!
Is it just a whole frozen turkey? Yes. Roll it down the ice?
Yeah, the kids get like a little 5-pounder, the women get like an 8-pounder, and I'll bet the men had like a 15-pounder.
Oh, it's,
Pins with the wings out though, right?
that's what they were saying. Yeah, I didn't get any pins.
Does anybody know the history of this race? Where the big race is at? Anybody ever been to a little community in the western UP called Ternary? In Ternary, Michigan, on the lake, they have people from all over the Midwest, thousands of sleds. The thing that's so ironic is that being in the UP and stuff, get chilly and cold. Guess who sponsors the big huge race that brings in thousands of people? A schnapps company. So you can imagine what that must be like at the end of the day. I don't think you'll ever see that in Beula, but we're still going to have a good time. Now, for those that haven't been here before, the way this works is, because of conditions and everything, we give each contestant 2 runs. They fall down, a piece of their sled falls off, excuse me, they have to pick it up to finish their time. We have a best of show. The best of show is a walnut. I don't know if it's down here, but it's a trapping trophy. It's a walnut.
Dang it!
Now, one of the things we need to encourage people. You can see this is most different organizations. It's not just about organizations. We want to see some families get down in their basement or in their garage and start building an old outhouse. You can get the directions online from the Crystal Lake Business Association website, or just go down to Douglas Gallery, and they will have everything. So think about it. I want to see this thing grow. And I think if we get family participation, get going, I think, we won't give Canaria a run. We'll just have a better time if we have more races.
How's it going?
We have
Pretty good.
something new this year.
Yeah, a few years. This is the first time we ran the same one. We painted the grill silver. We upgraded to stainless steel. Is what we're kind of going with. Because it was I don't know, Monday we're we need to do something else.
You're all invited.
You don't even have things to do
Hot chocolate.
here.
And rumor has it, I don't know, they talked about it some more. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Okay? I know hot chocolate.
Are you guys going to cheer on Ace Hardware?
Well, yeah.
Oh, gosh. You can cheer on everyone.
We're going to have beautiful fireworks tonight. If you haven't seen them before,
Jason, where is
over
Miss
Crystal
Bianca?
Lake,
Thought she was showing up.
4th of July
Who knows?
celebration, but the gentleman we have, he uses our event, our winter event, for experimentation. So you don't know what you're going to see. You're going to see stuff that's never been.
Here's the old courthouse.
Where he comes in and experiments. So try to stick around, get your hot chocolate, go down to the fire, warm up, use one of our local restaurants, get a bite to eat. Come on down and watch the fireworks. Give me a minute, I'm going to talk to the judges and see if we're not going to get and go.
So where would you set up if you were setting up?
I'd be back about here. Because that way, because you want to pay attention. Well, yeah, because sometimes, but they don't have breaks, remember that. They don't have breaks.
We are ready to go. Okay. I see who we have here. We have full moon. 10 Boy Scouts of America, and once again I want to thank them. They were awesome down at the fish shots. This old guy has a bad back, so I can
Somebody in the fire came behind me and I went up.
Oh, really? Right here?
Yeah. And I was like, you want to go on there? So I totally
Right. Exactly. A little dance and then stuff.
Okay, we're going about ready to go. I see they crash.
Larry, where are you? Show me. You give me the hands down then, okay? Gentlemen, you are on your mark. Set. Go!
Come on, Boy Scouts!
For a second.
Good job!
Very good. Your last name in a second.
2, 6, 1. 2, 6, 7. 2, 6, 7. Gentlemen, get on your mark. Get set. Go!
Five.
Yeah, boy. Words of wisdom.
One that was on a jet sled, I think.
I think we have 4 outhouses. They're each going to go 2 times.
Come on, tag!
Go!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nice job, ladies!
Good job, girls. Good job, girls.
Get a second chair.
Good job, Audrey!
Girl, this little mate who's from behind.
We were lazy this year because we decided to upgrade our grill to stainless steel. You know, painted it silver again.
One.
I'm gonna see if I can get a picture from right behind you, bud. Right here.
3.
Good job, Alex. Very clear. Good job, Alex. Walk up here, see.
Makes it light, it's almost all paper.
Must be size.
Come on, Hayden! Come on, Nugent Hardware!
Tips Ace Hardware.
There we go.
Let's go, Ace!
They're gonna come flying past us, probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
1, 2, 3.
Nice job, Acey Juicy! No, I didn't take a picture. I'll shoot on the next one. Do that or maybe Mr. Rachel's on the okay.
Video, so we'll see how it turns out.
Do that. Okay. Nice job, Ruskies! Nice! Deep breath, Jeff, deep breath. So, Abby and Ellen were supposed to go to the number house this weekend, but Coach Ross went down to the Central game, so...
When did they go down there?
Huh?
I didn't know they went down.
Yeah, they went down this morning for the game, so...
Jeff had to step up.
Yeah, he was not happy. He was... We have a couple of Bear Lake employees, and it's tonight is...
Boy Scouts.
1, 2, 3.
Nice job! Good run, boys. That was good.
4 and 1/4.
Good job, Logan Jones.
Hey, good job, guys.
I don't really know if they do the best, the fastest time, or they add 2 runs.
Okay. Larry, how are we doing? You ready?
Nolan.
1, 2, 3.
Good job.
Yeah, more evenly run. Good job.
Hope Express.
Come on, girl power! Woo!
Hey, Roger, how are we going?
Good job. Good guy.
Nolan, why don't you come down here?
Good job, Audrey. Warm those hands up. There you go.
Yeah, because it's clear, right?
That was more of a sideways slide outhouse.
Come on, Booster!
Go!
1, 2, 3, 4. They're all about the same.
That's right.
Good run, guys.
Is this it? Or did they get 3?
Just this. Just
So
two.
this it?
Yep.
What was an ace last?
This is it. Yep.
You got pictures? You're taking?
I'm
Okay.
trying, yeah.
Good.
I didn't know if
I didn't know if I was going to have to step up for you.
always a good idea. I know. She could be down.
Watch the flying girl, guys. Come at us.
I need help. Come on, Odie!
That girl is fast. Look out.
Second run. Last sled of the evening.
I think the booster also in the
Got it.
first place.
Get set. Go!
1, 2, 3. That's the winner right there.
Nice job, Hayden. Good job, Hayden.
Do they have to stop in that mark?
I know where to get some.
Good run.
Someone at a hardware store near you.
Got the still
Yeah,
work.
change his name or something?
Yeah, we still have the same
All right, guys. Is that it, or is that?
Here in a minute.
I like the baby.
Can I just slip through without her?
Alright, hold on. Okay. Hey. Wait, Julie, wait, you're not
Where was it? She's super excited because it wasn't that exciting, but.
Yeah, I saw her outside. This is the first time.
Rumor has it results are
Yeah, Jeff.
a few more minutes for presentation.
He was here for that.
Saw it by the truck.
Okay.
Okay, I have results. Let's go with the youth. Our youth, our first place trophy winner is better than the cat hole.
Well, usually, that's fine. Yeah.
Which is a Boy Scout troop number 10. Second place,
I got first. He's reading them the
another
other way.
scout group. Youth Division 267, the People's Express.
That's yours. Sorry about that.
So we're going to want to get
We got it figured out now, so.
Adult Division in second place, Beula Booster.
This is first place.
Their time was 6:16.
You want to do one set, one at a time?
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, the reigning champion, I believe,
You guys should be with your.
Nugent Ace Harvey. The time was 5:93. It was pointed out to me by the judges that they won by a tenth of a second.
Wow, that's close. This is confusing, so. Yeah, Paul is doing them too fast.
The best of show. All right. Thank you so much.
What about the girls? How do you?
Let's go to the sunboat. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the fireworks. Hot chocolate. Get yourself a little dinner at one of our local restaurants. Coming down to Beula winter.
Yes, he is. Very much so. We actually found some more little character things. We found some online.
Are we taking a picture over there? Let's go.
Crystal Lake Association.
So, that's the Lake Association, get on the website?
Yeah, there's the Lake Community Association. I'm over here at State of the Art. You can always just come down for some calls.
Oh, yeah. We just moved up here this year.
Gotcha.
So this is
Best in show.
It's a food. We'd love to get a whole bunch of it.
So we'll
Great, thanks.
Let's see picture here. Can you hang on to that bird?
Hey, lift it up again so I can see what's inside.
That's from last year.
Oh, okay. So they won again.
Yeah.
Oh, won't be done.
Okay, don't get both.
All right, there you go.
Okay, we good?
Wait, do we get all three of them?
So it can be red, you know. There you go.
Wait, do we get all three of them?
Yeah.
Here,
they
Nolan, you
rock.
come hold. You come get in it.
You
You hold.
guys rock. All right, get a good one. There you go.
It's a Gretzky tradition to hold the toilet seat.
Okay, from downtown Beula. This is Mike Tillotson at the Winterfest.
It's perfect.
Boy, it's a nice day in downtown Beula. It's cold. Oh, here's something you don't see very often. 10th February. Hope I don't read about this guy in the paper going home, slipping on the ice. Better get out of here because when it gets cold, it's going to be ice all over the place. But I guess he didn't care for what I had to say, did he? Yeah, it's about noon. Friday, I'm downtown river. I was hoping I could show you some snow. There's some snow. Did you see it? Coming down. We might have 1/100 of an inch by morning. Today is February 20th, Tuesday. Pouring rain out there. We have lost almost all of our snow. I've been critical of the liberals and atheists for global warming, but I think now we're going to have to admit to global warming. Well, okay, yeah, maybe in this part of Manistee County.
It drags it into deeper water. Demanding that the governor remove Sheriff Israel from his post. In fact, a
Here's my kitty. Hey, kitty, 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 kitty. You want hairball?
Splitting Republican voters with President Trump.
You know, Gary Johnson will always bemoan the fact that there's the other element of not getting a seat at a debate table. And that without that, you're sort of like in a vacuum. What if so go on that, to come along and headaches and demolition.
It's about 6 in the morning. Here's Black Cat. It's quite dark in here, but just want to show you what he does. Well, this is his life. Pretty soon he'll be sleeping again.
All right, a campaign promise now one step closer to
a great border wall
Kitty?
to stop illegal immigration,
Hairball?
to stop the gangs and the violence.
I want everybody to clap for yourselves for sticking around and coming down. Yeah, round of applause. So nice, and thank you for all the volunteers as well. All right, we're gonna do this song. I'm sure you guys will recognize. It goes something like this. Last night I did a ride, put me in a